Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain news update and the topic of racism in sport here in Spain dominating not only local headlines but also international headlines after Real Madrid star Vinicius was the victim of racial abuse at a game held in Valencia at the weekend. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that have left comments on the channel recently. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Many thanks to people that have supported the channel recently, whether by buying me a coffee or through the new Super Thanks option, or whether you are a patron on Patreon. Your support is greatly appreciated. Now, let's get into the news, and as I said, the ugly topic of racism in sport dominating headlines, not only here in Spain, but around the world as well, after Real Madrid player Vinicius was the victim of racist abuse. And as we can read here in this quote from Vinicius, racism is normal in La Liga. Spain is known as a country of racists, he says. Real Madrid striker Vinicius Jr. has harshly criticised La Liga on Sunday for racism in the competition after incidents with fans in the match against Valencia. It's not the first time, nor the second, nor the third. Racism is normal in La Liga. The competition thinks it's normal, the federation thinks it's normal, and the opponents encourage it, the player wrote on Twitter. For Vinicius Jr., the championship that once belonged to Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Cristiano and Messi today belongs to the racists. A beautiful country which welcomed me and which I love, but which has accepted to export to the rest of the world the image of a racist country. I am sorry for those Spaniards who disagree, but today in Brazil, Spain is known as a country of racists, and sadly, because of everything that has happened, I cannot defend it. I agree, he lamented. So the Spanish Football League and Spanish society in general racist, according to Vinicius Jr., and some very harsh criticism thrown at the country from the Real Madrid star. According to Vinicius Jr., it's not the first time, nor the second time, nor the third time that something like this has happened. And according to him, racism is normal in La Liga. Now, as a result of Vinicius Jr.'s claims, a lot of people here in Spain are asking the question, is this a racist country? And one press outlet, La Sexta, seems to think so. As we can read here, Vinicius is right. Spain is a racist country. In Spain, only one match has ever been suspended for shouting abuse from the stands, and that was because Rayo Vallecano fans called a player like Roman Zazulia a Nazi who has made it clear on many occasions that he is a fascist. We assume that Mr. Tebas, head of the Spanish Football Association, felt identified. In Spain, no match has ever been suspended because a black player is subjected to racist shouting. Vinicius is right. Spain is a racist country. It is no different from other countries around us, and Spain is also racist because the institutions in charge of ensuring that there is no racism are in charge of creating the conditions for racism to take hold on the football pitch. The cases of racist harassment in stadiums that Vinicius, a Real Madrid player, has been suffering are the paradigm of what happens in racist countries. Not only because the player suffers these episodes, which seems the most obvious, but because he suffers them on a recurring basis without any kind of measures being taken, undervaluing the events and equating them to other types of insults and taunts suffered by other players. So, there we go. According to La Sexta, Spain is a racist country, and the Football League here is also racist because they don't stamp racism out. Vinicius and other football players have been suffering racist abuse for years and years in this country. In fact, I remember many years ago going to a football game and somebody threw a banana at a black player. Was that club fined or was the stadium shut down for a period of time? No. Are other games here suspended because of racial abuse that players suffer? No, because as we also saw in that text, no match here in Spain has ever been suspended because of racist taunts. But as a result of this event and the international press that it has received, I imagine things are going to change, or at least they should. Now, changing topics, and the subject of immigration and the job market also making headlines today. And as we can read here, Spain is looking for immigrants to fill hundreds of thousands of vacancies that nobody wants in Europe's most unemployed country. How is it it possible that, in a country with 3 million unemployed people, a third of companies say they have problems finding labour? In the midst of all this turmoil, there is a government divided into two halves. One, that of José Luis Escrivá, is committed to encouraging immigration to fill vacancies. The other, that of Yolanda Díaz, which, hand in hand with the trade unions, is calling on employers to improve working conditions and is wary that migration is the solution. The debate on labour shortages in certain sectors and the formula for addressing them came to the fore again on Wednesday. The Minister for Inclusion, Social Security and Migration, José Luis Escrivá, announced his intention to make it easier for immigrants training for jobs with labour shortages to regularise their situation, a route known as Arraigo para la Formación, which was launched last summer and will now be made more flexible. So the Minister for Inclusion, Social Security and Migration here in Spain, Mr. Escrivá, has a plan, and the Minister for Labour, Ms. Díaz, also has a plan, but apparently those two ministers don't see eye to eye with their plans. One person, Mr. Escrivá, thinks that migration is the solution to the problem, but Ms. Díaz thinks that raising salaries is the solution. But again, I ask the question, why can't two ministers in the same government agree on something like this? Hundreds of thousands of job vacancies here in Spain, but the locals don't want to do those jobs. So government, this is for you. You've had 4 years to work on this problem, so pull your finger out and get something done. And the last piece of news we'll look at today relates to Spain's Equality Ministry and a new app that they are set to launch. And as we can read here, the Equality Ministry app to estimate the time spent on household chores will cost €200,000. The Secretary of State for Equality, Ángela Rodríguez, announced last week that the ministry will make available to citizens this summer an application that will allow them to calculate the time spent by each member of a family or cohabitation unit on household chores. The aim is to use this data to show how this work is shared, whether the work-life balance is adequate, or whether one person is taking on more work than the others. The contracting portal has published the details of the tender, which indicates that the cost of the application, including taxes, will be close to €300,000. The company Wherebutt, which is a regular contractor for IT services, will be in charge of developing the application, commissioned by the Ministry of Equality. The contract defines it as a mobile application for the registration of domestic chores and care in cohabitation units. So there we go, Spain's Equality Ministry about to launch a €300,000 app that shows whether household chores are being shared or not, and also to point out whether members of the cohabitation unit, aka household, have a good work-life balance or not. And is it just me, or do other people think that this is close to €300,000 down the drain? Let me know in the comment section below whether you think this is a good idea or not, but remember that in the past we have seen other government apps, for example, Radar COVID here in Spain, that basically didn't work and hardly got off the ground. So I don't know whether governments should be in the app making game, but let me know what you think in that comment section below. Now let's have a look at some of the comments that have been left on the channel recently. One here from Gronya: I completely agree about the siesta. I never go to bed. I stretch out on the sofa and enjoy it very much, whereas my husband hits the bed and perhaps spends 10 minutes waking up to reality. We are a family of the New Spain here in Catalonia, and we are waiting so very much for our second granddaughter to be born next month. We are Irish and our in-laws are from Madrid. A wonderful noisy bunch, so very involved in the family. Yeah, Grania, thanks for the comment, and this is a topic that popped up in yesterday's live stream about siestas here in Spain. Experts saying that the best type of siesta is a short siesta, preferably not in bed, and one that takes place just after lunch and not too late in the afternoon. And it's good to see that you guys have adapted to one of Spain's most famous traditions, the siesta. I also partake in the siesta fairly regularly, most weekdays around 20 or 30 minutes. I pop my head down for a siesta, and at weekends it can be a little bit longer. And another thing they pointed out in that article yesterday is that there are health benefits for short siestas, but the health benefits disappear the longer the siesta is. So thanks for the comment, and thanks to all of the other people that commented on their siesta habits. And good luck with the birth of your second granddaughter. Hope all goes well. Another comment here from Fausto: Hi Stuart, is Spanish society racist? Or is this just the problem for many mindless football fans and La Liga officials? Yeah, Fausto, thanks for the comment, and to be honest, I don't know if Spain is a racist society or not. Obviously, there must be a bit of racism or xenophobia going on given the rise of far-right party Vox in recent years. I also mentioned earlier in the video that I witnessed the racist event at a football game some 15 or 20 years ago, but I haven't been to the football since, so I don't really know what's going on there apart from what I read in the press. And as we saw earlier, this is not the first time that the player Vinicius has experienced racist abuse or other black players in La Liga, I believe. But again, I'll open the question up for debate to the community. Do you think Spain is a racist society or not? Let us know in that comment section below. One here from Stevo. Yes, the Spanish birth rate in 2022 was only 1.19 and has been declining for decades. And it's expected to continue to decline with women getting older before having children. Not as bad as South Korea, which is 0.84, but heading that way. Yes, Stevo, thanks for the comment. And another comment related to something that we saw in yesterday's live stream about how 1/3 of all children born in this country are born to foreign parents. And Stevo's right, the birth rate in this country is quite low. 1.19, I think, was the figure quoted there by Stevo. Compared to some other countries, that is very low. And the reason is that locals don't have big families anymore. If they do have children, normally 1 or 2, and this is for various reasons, because people enter the workforce later, takes them longer to get a good job where they feel stable enough to have a family, and also a lot of people find themselves quite old when they have their first child, so it's difficult to have more than 1 or 2. Those are some of the reasons. So the future of this country, if it wants to maintain current population levels, is to bring in more immigrants, but as we know, that can be a very hot topic politically, not only here in Spain, but in many other countries around the world. One here from Jeffrey. My wife and I love the news articles and discussion. I then try to find the stories in Spanish on El Mundo or El País, and I have a better chance of translating them accurately without relying on the computer. Yeah, Jeffrey, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you and your wife enjoy some of the articles that I show on this channel from newspapers like El Mundo and El País. Those are normally my two go-to newspapers because you get different points of view on different sides of the political fence, El País being on the left side of politics, El Mundo being on the right side of politics, so you get a balanced point of view if you read on both sides of the political spectrum, in my opinion. And reading the press here in Spain is not only good for keeping up to date on Spanish current events, but it's also a good way to practice your Spanish. And with the information that you pick up in those news outlets, you can start conversations with the locals about certain topics. Another one here from Anton. So fed up with the weather. I've been flat out, no holiday since June last year. So we went to the Canary Islands, 4 on the trot, loved them. Decided to go to mainland this time. We fly tomorrow to Malaga, been dicked with the weather. UK 20 to 23 degrees Celsius, all week glorious. Malaga pissing down all week. Heartbroken with it. Yeah, Anton, thanks for the comment, and sorry to hear that your trip to Malaga this week will most likely be spoilt by rain. The UK getting some good weather, Malaga getting bad weather, but as we know, there are drought conditions in parts of Andalusia, and many people in Malaga will be welcoming the rain. And if you want guaranteed weather at this time of the year here in Spain, the Canary Islands, which you mentioned in your comment, is probably the best place to go to. Plenty of choice down there. Mainland Spain, April, May, there's always a chance that you can get torrential rain, and unfortunately for you guys, this week is the week when it starts to rain. But anyway, not much we can do about that. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you've got an opinion on any of the topics that I have spoken about today, the comment section below is the place to leave your opinion. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.